up, everyone? Welcome back to another video on the Pointless YouTube channel. And listen, drama as of late has been absolutely insane. I mean, we just recently had SS Sniper Wolf, being insane. And now we have an update on the guy who nobody has really heard from in months, and that is EDP445. And for those of you who don't know who that is, he was a former YouTuber, influencer in general on the internet. Very, very famous guy. I won't say famous, but he was a very, very popular YouTuber or content creator that everybody pretty much knew. I mean, he was the face of meme culture at one point. I mean, you couldn't go anywhere without seeing memes of EDP445. And well, by now, I'm pretty sure all of you guys know the situation that ended up happening with him, but for those of you who may not know, which I'd be shocked that you don't know, EDP445 got exposed at the beginning of this year for being a predator. And well, after that kind of fell off the face of the earth. I mean, he got terminated, all of his social media platforms got banned, he got mass reported on the, accounts or the social medias that weren't banned by the, platforms themselves. And well, after that, you pretty much heard absolutely nothing from EDP. I mean, he did some, failed business, or what would you call it, attempts to come back. He made a website, he used his second channel, he used Facebook, and all of these got banned, reasonably, justifiably. This dude is a predator. Since then, like I said, there was really no updates. I mean, you'd have many updates, I mean, little slight things that would come out about EDP, such as him being apparently homeless and broke, which we'll get further into in this video, but nothing really damning that's like, okay, yeah, EDP update, yeah, he's screwed, nothing like that. It was pretty much believed that he would not be going to jail for a very, very long time. I mean, nobody really believed that he would be going in, but this update might be changing that. Now, before we get into the big beans, which is him getting arrested, I do want to state this, or a few things, that have happened to EDP445 besides, the arrest. Now, first off, EDP445 is indeed, broke. I mean, he's been, fired from multiple jobs due to, what he's done and what people know about him and his past. EDP also would use Cameo to make little money, before he had got banned, because YouTube weren't necessarily monetizing his content for obvious reasons. He was unfiltered, he was extremely, nonchalant about YouTube's rules, he did not care, which at the time people appreciated because he was a very raw creator who didn't really hold back his emotions whatsoever and would say whatever no matter what the consequence would be. So, he had to make money somehow. But due to his obvious sickening actions, Cameo ended up removing his account too, which means he was pretty much left with no chance of money after that. And I mean, even after, he was banned, and even if Cameo didn't ban him, I mean, he wouldn't have made money anyway. Nobody was gonna purchase anything from EDP, or he would have just completely went inactive anyway. So, I mean, that was just another blow to his pockets anyway, which completely deserved. Now, as far as his residency, he was evicted from his old place, so he moved from Bakersfield, California to Nevada, and well, he found a job as a Lyft driver, but his cover was blown. Someone ended up posting about EDP being a Lyft driver, and he ended up getting banned from there. I mean, he got fired in so many words, so yeah, that happened too. And he also tried to have a little job driving Uber Eats and Grubhub, which after finding out that he worked for Lyft, ended up banning him as well. So EDP really can't run anywhere. He has no choices. His life is ruined. It's ruined. Like, he literally cannot get a job. I mean, everybody knows how he looks. Everybody knows him. Millions of people have seen his exposed videos. It's not going to be as easy as getting a 9-to-5, working an everyday job at, let's just say, a Walmart or a Target or a supermarket or anything in general, because everybody knows EDP. Everybody knows his face. Everybody knows of, his entire past on the internet, who he is in general. So, to say the least, EDP is pretty much doomed. I mean, he's not gonna be able to get a job. I mean, that's pretty much impossible. He might as well give that up, because, like I said, everybody knows, and being that they know, they're gonna report to wherever he's being, employed, and inform his employers that he is indeed who he is, and due to them not obviously wanting their reputation to be ruined, he's going to get fired. And being that some people have morals, and some companies are obviously not stupid, they're not gonna let a predator be around their company, because he could put them at risk as well. So it's really not good for this guy. Well, I can't really say I feel bad for him either. He did this all to himself. I don't think he, necessarily would deserve a second chance, being that he had multiple chances. This isn't just a one-time thing when he got caught by predator poachers. It was a multiple-time thing before that. He, was doing this on the internet. He was preying on young people in general. This was not a new thing at all. I mean, after all, people have been trying to expose this for months. I mean, a year beforehand. It's been going on for a long time prior to this year, so I mean, like I said, you could say, oh, give him a second chance, maybe he's changed, but no, I mean, he's had multiple chances to change, and he did not. Now, being that EDP cannot escape his past or what he's done in his lifetime, he's trying to change his name now. He's trying to get rid of his name, which is Bryant Moreland. This is public information, by the way, this is nothing new, but he's trying to get his name changed. He does not want to have the name that he has now because it holds a lot of weight. And I mean, he's obviously trying to do this because if you search his name, you're gonna find EDP, and if you know EDP, you know what he did, and you're obviously going to not get that job. I mean, being that, he has so much around his name and so much surrounding who he is as a person. So he's pretty much trying to erase every trace of EDP445 from his existence, and the thing for him, which I don't know if he realizes, but if you change your name, people are still gonna recognize your face. They're still gonna know who you are. I mean, doesn't matter what your name says unless they're like a company that really doesn't look into people's background, or a lot of older people work for the company, because not everybody knows EDP, but if you've been on the internet or if you know any news sources or articles or anything, you'll know EDP. Now, as far as him getting evicted, he did get evicted from his apartment complex due to the, owner of the apartment complex getting multiple complaints every single day. I mean, there had to be hundreds, if not thousands, coming in at an insanely fast rate. So, of course, to get this absolute liability out of there, so, they won't lose business, being that, that there is an apartment complex where people will stay, and people that definitely had children were there, which would stir them away even more. So, EDP445 was evicted very, very fast. He was kicked out, and he's living in hotels. Well, not really living, because when people find out where he stays hotel-wise, he gets kicked out as well. So, in the United States of America, EDP has absolutely nowhere to run. It does not matter what state he's in. It does not matter what part of America he is in. He can't escape. There's always going to be people who recognize him. He's literally a figure of the internet, meme culture. Everybody knows his face. So he's trapped. He has to leave the country or do something if he wants to continue to live, because he's not going to be able to live for much longer. Like, I'm not talking about deceased, but he's not going to be able to, keep a steady income or anything like that, being that, he is who he is. Now, here's where the arrest comes in. Well, the apparent arrest, because EDP445, as reported by one of his former friends, Felipe, has been arrested. He's apparently in jail, and he called him, and it's a long story which I can't explain because it's not my story. So I'm gonna play a clip of his video. You guys take what you want from this, but don't necessarily take it as truth, because like a lot of people have said in the past, Felipe really isn't a credible source. It's a lot with this guy that I would have to make a whole nother video on to really get you guys to explain or, well, understand. I don't know what I'm talking about right now. But talking aside, let's go ahead and roll the clip and see exactly what he has to say.
What I thought when I first got the 2 no call ID numbers, on the third time I called, because I got this call 4 times. On the third one, I was like, maybe 2 things crossed my mind. Maybe it's my card trying to call me, saying that they think there was a fraud charge, or 2, I have family in France and Mexico, and sometimes when you get a call from international, it shows up as no caller ID, So that was my thought, and I thought there was a family emergency or there was a card charge. So the third time I picked up, it said, I was like, hello, and it said, this is the Henderson, Nevada detention center, inmate for Bryant Moreland. Would you like to receive the call? And I hung up, and then called again, and the same thing happened. Would you like to receive a call? So I said yes, because I was like, I was just curious to see, holy shit, he got arrested, wow, How true that is, I do not know. I mean, you guys are a bunch of FBI little agents out there. You guys can figure that stuff out, and go from there, and and that was it. So pretty much I got those calls, and I got it 4 times, and I'll show you guys the call log right over here. So those are the call logs that you guys just saw. I got 4 no caller ID numbers. First 2 times I didn't bother answering because I thought it was a scam, right? Then the third time I called and I was like, man, that's kind of bizarre, like 3 times in a row, right? So 2 things crossed my mind. One thing, since I nearly spent $500, I thought my card company was calling me for a fraudulent charge to let me know, you know? Or the second one was because I have family in Mexico and France, and sometimes when they do call me, it says no caller ID. So I thought an emergency happened with my family, to be honest. I mean, my heart did sink for like a second. So the third time I got that no caller ID number, it called and it said, from what I can recall, from word for word, it said, you have an inmate call. It said, this is the Henderson, Nevada Detention Center, which there is one. So there is the Henderson, Nevada Detention Center, right? Inmate Brian Moreland, would you like to receive the call, right? And I was like, I think I hung up right then and there. And then it called again a minute later. The same thing, you know, this is the Henderson, Nevada Detention Center, inmate Brian Moreland, would you like to receive the call? And I said yes. I mean, I kind of like froze up in that moment. And I was just curious, you know, like, man, like what did he do? You know, obviously you guys know the whole thing, but you know, I was like, man, like, you know, what did he do? Like, what's going on? So I said yes, waited for like a few seconds, and then looked at my phone and I hung up.
Now, you guys heard everything he said, and, you know, you can take what you want from that, but like I said, don't take it for necessarily truth, because he doesn't apparently even know if it's true, which is kind of weird, because it's like, alright, you're getting a phone call from an apparent detention center, which, for those of you who don't know, is kind of like what would you call it, like a police station type of thing, where they hold people who committed crimes or are being held, you know, or detained. So it's kind of like, I don't know if he's a great source to really go off of if we're really trying to verify if EDP was arrested, because, multiple people looked up his name, Brian Moreland, to see if, you know, he was indeed in jail, and he was not in any jails in the county or the place he was supposedly in. So yeah, that's a little alarming too. And with the evidence he provided, if you could even call it that, because you can't look to see if a no caller ID is really anything, because it's no caller ID. There's no number connected to no caller ID. That's why it is no caller ID. So at the end of the day, it's really no damning evidence to ever prove that EDP has been arrested for what he has done or is in jail currently. But all you can do is really guess, really go off of speculation until he himself confirms it, or someone who is very, very close or works with any police departments confirm this, because we're not going to know otherwise, especially being that he's apparently trying to change his name or has changed it. This whole situation is mind-blowing. It's really insane if you think about it, because this dude went from one of the most famous people on YouTube, I mean, even though he didn't have the most subs, everybody knew who he was, to one of the most disgusting figures the internet has ever seen. I don't care what anybody says, you cannot defend Mr. EDP, Mr. Bryant. There is no defending this man. He committed one of the most disgusting crimes a human can commit, if not the most disgusting. He's just one of those people who you can't really give a second chance to. He's a threat to himself, many other people. It's an unfortunate situation for the guy. I mean, I don't feel bad for him, but I mean, dude, he can't live his life, and it's unfortunate, but I don't have any necessary remorse for him or feeling like, oh man, I feel bad for EDP. Nah, I really don't. I can't lie. There's always gonna be those diehard EDP445 fans, no matter what, and that's just how really life goes, dude. I mean, there's always gonna be people who support you no matter what. I mean, in this case, it's not one of those things you really want to support, because he's a predator. He preys on young children. So, you know, it's a very L situation for the guy. I mean, the only way he's going to be able to live his life is if he goes to, like, a really far away country that, I mean, even he may still be recognized there due to he's recognized worldwide. I mean, literally everybody knows EDP, especially even if you're in a different country, such as maybe, let's just say, Canada, what would be another good example? Maybe the United Kingdom. I mean, dude, everybody knows this dude's face. He's a staple on every internet platform you can think of. I mean, he's the face of meme culture. I mean, he was. And even if he tried to move to a different country, that's going to be a ton of money. He has no money, and, you know, he's really stuck. He can't get out of this. So, I mean, that's the conclusion of this EDP update. The dude, he's screwed. There's no escaping, really. He just has to deal with this, or I don't know how he's gonna make money or be able to get a living, or make a living at all. So whatever, I really don't feel bad for him. Like I said, that's really the update. But yeah, I'm out. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a wonderful day. I love you all. And yeah, I'm out. Peace. Don't end up like EDP. Please don't end up like that guy. He's very, 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 very trash.